It's the Casters of Horror 2024 Top 5 Countdown. Here's your hosts. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Casters of Horror. I'm Christmas.
Nice. I'm Shane, and
like
we're here to talk top 5 horror movies of 2024 that we've watched on the show. So.
that we've watched on the show. And now, as far as the rules of the game, these are films. We preferably went with films that came out in 2024. Some of them may have premiered at film festivals in 2023 or whatnot, but major releases in 2024. At least we tried to keep it down this way. This is the collection of the ones that we thought were the best this year. Shane's going to give his opinion on the top 5. I'm going to give my top 5, and we will see if we have any overlap. I think we may have at least one. So we will have to see. I'm going to sneeze. Yeah. I know it's going to happen. All right. Yeah. But anyway,
just in the middle of while I'm talking,
I will. I'll mute it. It'll be nice. It'll be nice. So anyway, I'd be interested to see what your guys' top 5 lists were. If you guys do have a top 5 list, please put it down in the comments down below. While you're there, make sure to hit like and subscribe before we kick this thing off. Do it now. So, and I'm wearing a very special shirt for the occasion. This is
Midsommar.
Yes. One of my all-time favorites. So, I found this shirt and I was like, that is so metal. I love it. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, I had to get it. So anyway, let's jump on into this thing without further ado.
Cool.
Here we go. Number 5. Shane, did you want to start out? What was your number 5? And we'll kind of bounce back and forth.
Okay, sure. My number 5 is. It's an interesting one, Chris, because I don't know that everyone considers this horror, even though I'm pretty sure it was tagged as horror this year.
Okay.
We kind of go back and forth a lot about how we don't gatekeep horror and, what it is or isn't. This one struck me in such a way because it's a unique horror in that I feel like a lot of it came from the human characters and not these humans are vile, but the things the characters go through. Right?
Okay.
And I could not help when I watched this film. This is one that you reviewed solo and I went back and watched later.
Okay.
My number 5 is I Saw the TV Glow.
Great film.
This was a phenomenal film, and it has in it, near the end, one of the most heartbreaking gut punch character moments that I have ever seen in a horror film or in any film. And it just, man, it stuck with me. And I can imagine that, like, maybe the people who can connect with it on a deeper level, that it affected them even more than me. I got to hand it to the actor in this one. This was this one scene that I'm referring to just blew me away, and like I feel like you could really sense the actors putting themselves into it. Maybe I guess I don't know. It was phenomenal film, and it may be a little bit of a bizarre pick for horror, but it's tagged as horror, and I'm calling it, and it well earns its place on my top 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And Martin Scorsese just recently was interviewed and said, what's one of the best films that you've seen this year? And he was like, he mentioned I Saw the TV Glow. So,
yep.
Yeah. Right on.
Great movie.
Well, my number 5 may be on your list. I don't know. This one, both you and I really, really dug. I would be interested to see if it's somewhere on your list. We will find out. I had a great time with this one. Saw it in the theater. It's out on Hulu now. You guys can check it out. It's streaming on there. This is Alien Romulus. That was my number 5 pick for this year.
Nice.
Sci-fi horror. Fede Alvarez did a great job at directing this one. Kaylee Spaney, and the lead actress in it, was phenomenal. I had such a fun time with this film.
Yeah.
And really a lot of my list is stuff that I know that I'm going to go back, I'm going to watch again, replayability, stuff that was just like, I had a great time with it. And this was one of those for me.
Yeah.
I really was like, where does it go on the list? And it made it. It did make it into my top 5. It was almost edged out, but it did make it into there. So yeah, my number 5 was Alien Romulus for this year.
Good pick.
Yeah. Good pick. Number 4. Did you want me to go first for this one?
Sure, we can bounce it back and forth like that.
We'll just bounce it back and forth. My number 4, why not? I'll just keep talking. This film came out of left field. This one was quirky. It was so original to me that I was just like, this is just brilliantly done. The lead actor in this one was just spot on in this role, made me want to watch more. The film that I'm talking about, Late Night with the Devil, was number 4 for me. The premise of it, the runtime on it, everything to this one. In fact, I just recently went back and watched it again.
Yeah.
Week and a half ago, and it was still so good.
Yeah.
So many little things that I didn't notice the first time that I saw it, and man, I'm glad I watched it again because it's just so much fun. One that I'll end up probably going back and watching over and over. So that to me, it's a definite one in my collection now. Yeah, number 4 was Late Night with the Devil for me.
Okay.
What about for you, sir?
Chris, this one needs no preamble because you just gave it a bunch of preamble. Number 4 for me is Late Night with the Devil.
Hey, nice. Look at that. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, this was, you talk about rewatching. This one was still such a fun rewatch. I loved the setup for this one. And it really, really did feel like some lost tape from a late night television show.
Yeah.
And we've gone over and over this before, man. David Dastmalchian, one of the great side character actors, right?
Yeah.
Every time he's in a film, he's not the main character. This one he was, and man, he delivered. Such a great performance. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely love this one. This one is a one that is easily rewatchable.
Brilliant. I loved it.
Yep.
Wow, we got one on the list. The same
position. That's pretty funny.
That's wild. This one to me was, I really wasn't for sure. It actually ended up dropping down on the list for me.
Oh, okay.
And I knew it was always going to be a part of my top 5, but just where it was going to fit in there, but it did get bumped down a little bit, but and you guys will see why. So anyway, let's move on to number 3. That was kind of weird.
All right, so
number 3.
Number 3 comes to me, and I had a ton of fun with this film. It's just fun. It's a fun, crazy time in space, and it is Alien Romulus.
Hey, look at that!
Hey. Second crossover. Wasn't sure that was going to happen. Yeah, I've seen people say like, oh, it's going to be on a lot of people's, top 5, top 10s, and yeah, it is on mine. And is it the best of the franchise? I don't know. Probably not. Is it the best of this theme? Probably not. Maybe this year it was, though. For me, it hits number 3 just because I really enjoyed it. It was tons of fun, and I think sometimes you just need that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it had its scares, obviously. Maybe dug into some weird lore. Maybe it relied too much on trying to be, like the original or something. some questionable CGI in one specific part, but
Yeah.
this was just a fun film. And
like, Mommy, what happened to Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah. Yeah. So aside from the creepy weirdness of what they did with, with that returning character,
yeah,
Alien, I just thought Alien Romulus was really cool, and I actually think that it maybe could have paved the way for setting up some really cool things in the future. And I am really excited about the. Oh wait, no, that's not, I'm thinking of something else now. But anyway, I know there's more Alien coming, and I'm excited to see where they go with it. And I'm interested to see if they take this at all and run with some of the concepts.
Alien Coming is a whole different film.
Yep,
nice.
Totally different one.
Nice. Well, my number 3 is a fairly recent watch. This one just blew me away as soon as I watched it. But it still wasn't enough to knock out my top 2. This one coming in hard and fast with a big old smile. It's Smile number 2. Yeah. So I thought that the direction was great on this one. The writing was so well done. It put it, I could have done without the first film and just gone with this one. It's so well acted by Naomi Scott in this one.
Yes.
She did a brilliant job. Man, just everything about this from just out the gate was just so good. It really, really made it difficult to figure out because I really wanted to put this one higher, but I really couldn't. But yeah, number 3 for me was Smile number 2. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
very good pick.
Yeah. So let's see. We're on to number 2 now.
On to number 2, and if we're keeping
number 2,
keeping the pattern here, you'll be going first.
Will I now?
Yes.
Well, this one once again. Should I even just bury the lead on this one? Why not? This is one that affected me in a way that I never thought was possible with a film. This one just, when I watched it, it made me, it was gut wrenching. It was life-changing for me. As someone who's part of a lot of different letter categories and not just in orientation, but also mentally and things like that. This film just hit it home for me. And this was I Saw the TV Glow. Shane said earlier, it may not have been, to me, it was kind of on that. It was like a personal horror. It was just in a cosmic horror sort of way, which was kind of weird because I'm not a cosmic horror person by any sort of the means, but this film was just absolutely brilliant. Going back and watching it again, seeing all the subtleties, seeing the little signages everywhere, the names of the school, the names of the town and things like that. Just all these little nuances that made this film just even better the second watch through.
Yeah.
So this one definitely part of my collection. This was I Saw the TV Glow, and it pains me not to have it in number 1 spot, but it like I said, if you guys haven't watched the review that I did on this one, go back and check it out because the reasons why it affected me so much, it was just, I explain all that in there. So yeah, that was my number 2 pick for this year.
Yeah. This is the one that I was pretty sure was going to be on your list. I wasn't sure where, but yeah.
Yeah, we pretty much just took each other's lists and just went, hey, let's.
It seems like it.
Yeah, and here I thought we were only going to have one crossover, so.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of 2, this is my number 2, right?
This is your number 2.
My number 2 is Smile 2.
Hey, look at that. Man.
This one was at the top of my list. I think since we watched it, and it was only going back and rewatching and thinking about a lot of these films again. It was hard to move this one down the list because I really, really love this film. I think Naomi Scott, again, I said this during your review, this is one of the most phenomenal performances I have seen this year. She was so good in this role. And it was just, you had said during our review that you had to go, but you had to check to see if it was even the same like writer director. Yeah, this film feels different. It hits in a different way, but it's very, very good. It's a very good take on the same concept. And I thought it was better than the first film in every conceivable way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Absolutely. Smile 2, it was in my number 1 slot for a while. So it was hard to bump it down. But
I'm kind of surprised. Like I thought for sure that this was going to be your number 1 for this year. So like I'm kind of at a loss right now for what your number 1 could be. But before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and give some honorable mentions for this year. Do you think you have any guesses what my number 1 is going to be for this year? I mean, you don't have to actually guess, but do you think
I'm not going to guess out loud, but I do have a suspicion about what it might be.
I'm kind of wondering
I think there are 2 solid possibilities, but I think I know which one it's going to be. But I don't know for sure. So,
all right. Well, let's get into the honorable mentions. This is number 6, 7, and 8. These are the ones we're not going to go deep into them. We're just gonna just go blah 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 blah. Number 6, I had Longlegs for this year.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
6 was Longlegs. I thought Nicolas Cage was great in it. I forgot who the main actress in this was. Just brilliant. She did a great job.
I don't know.
But number 6, I had Longlegs. Do you want me to just rattle them off?
Yeah, go for it.
Number 7, I had Terrifier 3. That was my number 7 for the year. That one, I'm a huge Terrifier fan. You guys know this, but it's hard to beat Terrifier 2. Terrifier 3, just though I had fun with it, it was one that was like, I could not squeeze it into the top 5. I just couldn't do it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what your number 1 is then. So,
and number 8 was Slay. This was the film about the drag queens at the little podunk bar who meet up with the vampires. You guys can check that one out on Tubi. Oh man, I had so much fun with that film.
That was a fun one, yeah.
It is so good, and the rewatchability on it is great. So check that one out if you guys haven't done so yet. Shane, what are your honorable mentions for 2024?
Sure. So I'm actually going in a reverse order here. I'm going to say my number 8 slot. Now, all 3 of these, it was tough to not have them in my top 5 because I did love all 3 of them.
Okay.
For me, in my number 8 was Lisa Frankenstein. This was an earlier one we watched.
I knew. I was wondering where this would fall on your list.
Yeah. I loved this film so much. I watched it for the show, and then the next night I watched it with my wife. It's a fun, zany, quirky, like 90s horror film. Yeah. And I just thought it captured the era perfectly. Number 7 was Infested.
Oh, okay.
And I'm calling it by its English title because I have no idea how to pronounce the French title. This is the French horror film about the spiders, right, in the apartment complex. That one super creepy shot down the hallway, right?
Yeah.
Just awesome. And the director of this is the one who's doing Evil Dead Burn. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out. And then number 6, Chris, Slay.
Really?
Man, it killed me to not have this on my top 5.
Oh, man.
This is, without a doubt, the most fun film we watched this year, and it's not even close.
Nice.
But ultimately, as much as I loved this, and I really hope that they go somewhere else, with these characters in the future, just barely got bumped off for me. But
Nice.
yeah, really
Nice.
enjoyed those films.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The next one on my list was Infested after Slay,
Okay.
and
Nice.
that's probably kind of funny. I was like, well, it just Slay bumped it out. So,
Yeah.
anyway, now I'm just wondering what your number one is. 'Cause this really makes me interested to find out. Do you want the honors, or shall I go, sir?
I can go first if you want me to.
Or shall
I
we
don't really
say them at
care.
the same time?
I guess we can. I don't know if I suspect I know what yours is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the same as mine.
Okay. I'll let you go.
Okay. This one bumped up my list from number 2 to number 1. Swapped places with Smile 2 after I rewatched it. I was a little harsh on it, but I ultimately did love it. And after thinking about it a lot and rewatching it, I don't know that I can objectively say there was actually a better film this year. My number 1 of 2024 goes to The Substance.
Wow.
It really does tick all the boxes that I like, right? It gets into that cosmic body horror type thing.
Yeah.
This felt like one of those body horror films from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
With a modern sheen. And I even said, like, in our review, despite all the grotesque imagery, one of the most disgusting scenes is a dinner scene, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it was the audio design that was just so expertly done, but
And you're not the only one that I've heard say that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard that come out of several people's mouths recently.
Yeah.
That dinner scene was one of the worst parts.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely was. That was, you talk about stomach churning. Not much gets to me, but that dinner scene was like, ooh, but no, and then especially, I think you have a film, and I think back when we reviewed it, I said I expected The Substance to be more of almost a character in itself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really detract from the film that it wasn't. And the last, I don't know, what is it, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of this film, I don't know, just goes so deep into the totally bonkers kind of thing that I like, that for me, this is what elevated it, I think, ultimately.
Cronenberg-esque.
Yes.
Right at the end, yeah.
Very, like, messed up. And of course, it would be foolish to talk about this film without talking the amazing performances, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think this film, for me, just when I look at it, I have to admit, even though it wasn't on my top, number 1 for this whole time, when I look at it honestly, I have to say, like, I actually overall really did enjoy this one better than my other picks. So
nice.
My number 1 for this year goes to The Substance. It's a phenomenal film.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that leaves with my number 1. This one was actually considered a dark comedy. I guess at points, sci-fi, drama, horror, psychological horror. Dude, ever since I first watched this movie, I knew that this was my number 1 movie for this year, hands down.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 names: Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid. This movie was absolutely effing insane.
Yes,
number 1 is The Substance. This movie was just incredible. If you wanted to describe eye candy of a film, this was it. This was like a cinematographer, a director's just bliss. This movie, so many qualities to it, so many, the looks, the advertisements, the just the nuances that this film had throughout it. The shots, the acting, everything about this movie was almost perfect for me. it absolutely beautiful. And even the soundtrack, everything about this hit every note for me, and it just hands down the best movie this year. And I'm not just saying horror. This for me was the best movie that I watched this year by far. Nice. By far. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I thought for sure that your top 5 would be a little bit different, but man, these were. Did we
match? Did we match all 5?
Our top 5 were all the same except in different order.
Yeah, slightly different order for 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah.
So that honestly, that really, really shocks me.
Yeah.
Same with me. I suspected that The Substance would be on your list, and I long suspected it would be up top. Yeah. But I wasn't completely sure where you landed on Terrifier 3. So
Terrifier 3 kind of left me lacking this year. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for 4. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for 4, but I mean, it was even after Longlegs. So, I mean, it was down on the list. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't put it in the top 5. There was movies that were just so much better than it. And,
and there are, I'm looking at, if I look at mine, I'm like, man, I could maybe cut this off at my number 20 is a movie that I still really liked. Right. Yeah. So this was a really tough year to rank, but I feel like my top 5 has been set for a while. It's just the exact order that kind of jumbled around a bit over the past couple weeks, but phenomenal year for horror, dude. I think, I think we ate well this year.
Well, if you guys haven't checked out any of these top 5, make sure that you guys do. We did reviews on each one of these, of course. Go back and check those out if you guys want to find out a little bit more about each one of those films. We go a little bit more in depth on each film, and we give a little bit more of the reasons why we liked these than what we did today. But with that being said, if you're going to check out one film this year, definitely check out The Substance. If you get a chance to check it out anywhere, it is on Prime Video to rent at this point. Just a phenomenal film. And it didn't get quite the push that a lot of things got. It wasn't as mainstream, but it just blew me out of the water. So go and check it out. If you're going to follow any list, follow mine for it's the same damn list.
Well, you know what? I will say this. Our lists are, I know they're basically the same other than some numbers. I have seen some really bonkers lists out there. So ours are definitely pretty good comparatively speaking.
So if you're gonna see 5 films this year, or going into the next year, and you want 5 solid films, check out these 5. And let us know what your guys' list is. Put down your top 5 down below, and while you're there, make sure to hit like and subscribe once again if you haven't done so already. Because subscribing with us is like joining a really cool kids club, and we wear pink on Thursday.
I thought you were going to say cult there for a second.
A really cool cult. It's like a really cool cult.
Really cool kids cult. No, not like that.
Yeah. What? No. Anyway, I'm glad you guys stuck around with us this year. Thank you for making 2024 an awesome year for the show. Our numbers are climbing, and tell some friends about it. Tell your enemies. Tell somebody. That's all that matters. Just tell somebody, because we want to make 2025 even better. And I'm looking forward to this next year and what all's coming out. Shane, you got anything before we close out?
Nope. Thanks for another amazing year. Thank you for all your suggestions.
Thank you guys for
Thank you for your suggestions this year. Please do give us more suggestions. We love taking your suggestions and watching. Doesn't have to be a new film, can be an old film, just something you want to see us watch and review. And yeah, thank you for another amazing year, and we hope you'll stick around. We got a lot coming out in 2025. Big plans.
We do. Yes, we do. We got some new shows coming out, so you guys can check those out and stick around. It's going to be fun. And all of them are going to be under the Casters of Horror channel. We're expanding. We've got at least 2 new shows coming out. So not like 2 new episodes of this. I'm talking like 2 brand new shows. So along with this one. So make sure you guys subscribe so you guys can check those out. Anyway, we will see you guys in the next year. Until then, get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys.